Hey everybody, it is Mike from Baltimore Rides here, wrapping up Tuesday, April 3rd. Little bit of a slow night tonight, I'm not gonna lie guys. It was a little bit sleepy tonight. I'm not really 100% sure why. Weather was kind of like rainy, wet, blah, yucky weather. And I thought that was going to help, actually. Rain sometimes works in our favor, but for some reason it just didn't tonight. It happens. But I'm wrapping up for the night. 164, something like that. 163, 164. Not a great night. It's not a $200 night, and honestly, guys, if I wanted to stay out and just drag my butt through the mud trying to get the extra $40, I could. But it's Tuesday night. Tuesday's traditionally one of my slowest nights on the road. I've been up early because my mom got moved today from Sinai to to the rehabilitation place. So I had to get over to her assisted living house and pack her some clothes. Because at rehab, you don't wear hospital gowns, you wear regular clothes, and blah, blah, blah. So I've been on the road or up moving, a lot. And I'm tired. And I drove most of the weekend. I haven't really had a day off in a while, so my body's a little bit hurting. And I need to, I need to call it quits for the night. I really do. So, that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to wrap it up early. Get a good night's sleep, and then be back out on the road tomorrow. They're calling for kind of spring, yucky weather off and on for the next couple days. Depending on what weather service you look at and where you are zip code wise when you look. Where I live out in Carroll County, they're calling for wintry mix. Baltimore is mostly going to be like cold, wet rain, maybe a little bit of freezing rain. So, down in the Virginia side and the DC side, I'm sure you guys will be too warm. Even that extra 3, 4, 5 degrees difference means you guys are probably just going to end up getting rain. So, the next couple days could be a little bit sluggish in that regard. But the winter stuff is pretty much gone by the looks of it, and this weekend looks to be a little bit nicer. Still cold weather for spring, but at least it's, the sun kind of comes back out by Friday, they're saying, and then Sunday maybe some wintry stuff again. So who knows? Mother Nature's just lost her mind. She really has. But you know what we had to do. If you're not making it, you grind. If that means you work an extra day, you work an extra day. If it means you stay out a little bit later, you stay out a little bit later. But you just got to know when your body says enough is enough. And you guys know me. I'm kind of a workhorse. I just grind, and I work a lot of hours. I work a lot of days. I generally only take days off when I need to. If something happens that I need to take a day off, I'll take a day off. My body hurts, or something happened with my mom or my kids or whatever. But if there's no reason to take a day off, I don't take a day off. I work. You got bills to pay, you got a family to support, you just do what you got to do. You guys understand. You got your own responsibilities and bills and people that look to you. That's nothing new for any of us. So, but whether you're part-time or full-time, the equation doesn't change. We all have to hustle, we all have to make money, and we do it. And sometimes it means working longer hours. Sometimes it means working more hours, just whatever. But I will err on the side of caution. And tonight, I feel like it would be a battle. Other than one good long trip that I got today, all my trips have been minimum fares. There has been very little surge, very little, Lyft surge. So most of my fares were $3 to $5 fares, and that's really what kills you on a night like tonight is, you do 15, 20 trips, but if they're all $3 trips, that's why your numbers end up looking light. If you get some $10, $12, $15 trips mixed in there, or a lot of $8 to $10 trips mixed in there, well, then all of a sudden it's a lot easier to get to that $200 number. And just tonight, the dice were not in my favor, and I ended up just pulling a lot of, low fare, short trips. Every time there was surge, I was on the other side of town. Every time something was going on, I would get rides that would draw me away from that direction. So it's just, the luck of the draw. Sometimes it goes against you. The airport looked like a nightmare. I didn't even chance it. I went to the airport the other day, by the way, and I don't know if I mentioned this in a prior video, but I went there the other day thinking I could get a ride out. I got a ride to the airport, and I said, well, okay, the queues look low. I think it was like 10 for Uber and 18 for Lyft. I'm thinking to myself, well, that's great. Maybe it means flights are rolling in, or this was Sunday, or there's just not a lot of activity. And I sat 18 on Lyft, 10 on Uber, and I sat for 20 minutes and it dropped 2. It dropped me to 5 with Uber and it dropped me to 13 with Lyft, which I guess is more than 2. But the point being, it was moving at a snail's pace. A snail's pace. And guess what I did? I left. I'm not going to commit 45 minutes, 50 minutes, an hour to a potential $3 ride. Just not. The element of risk is too high for that much time commitment. You guys know in my prior videos I've been talking about this. My hourly is $20 to $25 an hour. That's my expectation of myself. Now, some nights like tonight, I'm in the high teens, which sucks. Some nights I'm high 20s, but I don't like falling short. And if you have 1 hour that you just screw the pooch and you have a really, really crappy hour, it kills your average. It just kills it. And so why would you voluntarily put yourself in harm's way like that? Why would you voluntarily take that risk? And that's what a lot of those airport guys do, is they hope they'll get out of, 5 to 10 airport trips, they hope they'll get 3 good ones and make $150 and do 3 crappy ones. But it's all hope. It's all praying and hoping that something's going to come out right, because you could get 5 shitty ones. And I can't, guys. I just can't do it. It's too risky. I find myself too impatient when I get there. If it's not moving quick enough, if I don't feel like the line's going fast, I just get out. It's not worth the risk. I'd rather go back to Baltimore or go to Columbia or, whatever, or just go to the Horseshoe Casino even in the Greyhound station and pick up a ride there, than chance sitting at an airport to get nothing or to get something really, really meager and have invested a lot of time in doing it. So you guys all have to fight that battle yourselves. You have to decide what risks you're worth taking, what your time is worth, and whether you want to work, you want to grind or you want to leave it up to fate. And to me, I'd rather grind and know that I'm going to make the money I need to make, even if it means I have to work a little bit harder, put a little bit more miles on my car, versus just taking chances that I don't think are necessary. You can have a really bad night working the airport. I did. I worked the airport for a couple months nonstop and had very, very good nights sometimes, had very, very shitty nights sometimes, and it was very unpredictable, and I don't miss it. I miss some of the people, not gonna lie. I do miss some of the people. Muhammad, Andy, some of those guys, I miss them. Mike, I miss them. I miss some of those guys. They were really good people to work beside, and I really enjoyed working beside them. But the job itself was different than what I wanted it to be. I want to hustle, and I want to be moving, and I want to make trips and make the kind of money that I want to make. And it was fun because it was very social. We just sat around and bullshitted, and but I wasn't making the money I needed to make. And so at the end of the day, I had to make the decision that was right for my family, the business decision that was right. And I did. And I left on bad terms. Obviously, if anybody goes back and looks at those videos kind of like towards the end of last summer, you'll get a gist of what happened. But, there was bad blood. And so, it's different. I don't feel welcome, and I don't really even get a sense that there's that kinship with them there anymore. Every time I'm there, I never see the armchairs and the people sitting around talking, and I feel like that whole thing ended probably shortly after I stopped doing it anyway, for various reasons. So, that being said, we just have to do what we got to do. I get a lot of my social interaction now with my passengers. I have a lot of good conversations, and then you guys. You guys are awesome. You guys keep checking in with me every now and then. Some of you guys I haven't talked to in a while. Some of you guys I text. It just depends. I've got a lot going on right now, and I'm not going to lie. Sometimes everything going on in my life distracts me, and it's very hard for me to find the time to be everywhere I need to be. And that's the reality, is that it's, sometimes that's the battle we struggle with, in life. We all do. You've got a job, you've got to make money, you've got, people that care about you, you've got to spend time with them. And, that work-life balance is a tricky thing. And I was just telling somebody the other day that, with my mom being, in her situation with the Alzheimer's dementia, and now with, a little bit of a health issue, I feel like she's kind of like a kid. Her comprehension and understanding, you can have wonderful conversations with her, but her ability to make sound decision making is gone. And her emotional state, because of the memory confusion, is a lot more heightened. So she's very sensitive and scared sometimes, and it's kind of like having a kid. And I love my mom to death, and I'm doing the right thing for her. But I said to somebody, it's like I feel like I've adopted another kid. I've got, my 2 kids to worry about, and now I've got this other person, my mom to worry about, and of course I'm going to. There's no doubt in my mind that I'm not going to take care of my mom. Of course I'm going to. But it just feels like I'm a parent again, all over again. And it's tricky sometimes. I thank God that Uber came along when it did, because it would be very, very complicated juggling everything that I'm doing right now while working a job, being responsible to other people, having a boss, having a schedule I've got to commit to. It would be very hard to have the flexibility that I need right now. And for those of you that have talked with me about this recently, you know how I feel about it. If you have a full-time job and you're doing Uber on the side, then I know it's a little bit harder for you, because you're burning the candle on both ends, and you're really, you're chasing your tail sometimes because of that. And I hope that the money you make from Uber and Lyft at least affords you a level of comfort, pays some bills, gives you the financial flexibility that you need to make your life better. I really hope that for you. If you're doing it full time like me and a bunch of us here, then it's very different. We give up some things, but we gain some things for it. So, just an interesting, it's kind of an interesting conversation, and I've been having it kind of on repeat a lot lately, because I've been reflecting on it a lot lately. I really have. But, it's that 1 year anniversary kind of thing, and it's just got me thinking about a lot of stuff. And then obviously everything going on with my mom and, whatnot. So, I tend to be more reflective, when I've got a lot of things going through my head. So, and then the driving affords you the ability to think. So I'm always wondering and thinking and, contemplating things. And I've got some side projects that I'm working on in my brain, but finding the commitment time to be able to actually sit down and work on them is tricky. So a lot of times those side projects, they stay in my brain until the very last minute when I have a time to dedicate to them. So there you have it, guys. I'm not going to talk a whole lot more tonight. I'm kind of winded. I just had a huge conversation with Guy on a long trip, so I'm kind of emotionally drained from that conversation. But I will be back out on the road tomorrow. I'm going to check on my mom. She's back at Levendale in their rehabilitation section, which is perfect because they're right across the street from Sinai and they're connected to each other through Life Bridge. So it was kind of an easy decision. I'm glad they went that route as opposed to putting her in some other little rehab spot. And I have, very strong good feelings about both Sinai and Levendale because of what they've done for my mom so far. So, I was thrilled when they said she was going over there. But she's there, and I want to check on her in the morning, make sure she's okay, see if she needs anything other than clothes, because I brought clothes today, but I don't know if she needs toiletries or, whatever. And then I'll be back out on the road with you guys. So if you're on the road, be safe. If you weren't on the road today, then I hope you enjoyed your day or, got to spend it at least doing something or spending it with people you care about. And, just understand, guys, I've said this before, but, I don't know when you started, but think about your anniversary because a lot of things click over. A lot of your documentation needs to get re-uploaded. A lot of your vehicle needs to get re-inspected. Annual for us is significant because there's a lot of things we have to do to stay active, and you don't want to get deactivated because one of your documents expired and now you got to jump through hoops to fix it. So be mindful of that. I've got the month of April to get my car inspected. Well, actually the lease is July, so I've got a little bit more time. But I want to start on it in April because I know there's things I want to do. I want to change my brakes and rotors. I want to do some tune-up-y type stuff that I think will probably be necessary. So there's that. I want to put new tires on it, all that kind of stuff. So be mindful of that. You got to budget that stuff. So they're vehicle expenses that you've got to budget. They could be a lot, they could be a little, depending on whether you're doing the work yourself or you got a buddy doing it or you're taking it to a shop. So be thinking about those expenditures that are big and budget them ahead of time. The same way you budget Christmas or a birthday or a vacation, anything that is a major expense, you got to budget it ahead of time. It's the one way you can manage your finances, given the kind of industry we are in. Now that might mean you make an extra $50 a week and you put that $50 aside or, whatever. I've already got my Christmas fund started and I put money aside every week for Christmas so that when Christmas rolls around, I'm not freaking out having to scramble like I did last year. So just be thinking about that stuff, guys. And that's kind of life lesson stuff. It's not really Uber stuff. But I will see you guys on the road tomorrow. I'm trying to shorten my video. I'm looking at the countdown. It says 18 minutes. So I'm going to wrap it up. And you guys all have a great night. Bye-bye.